The most miserable people in modern society are often not the ones who failed. They are the ones who succeeded, completely, measurably, by every standard the world offered them. They built the career, they earned the income, they reached the position. And then, in the silence that followed, they discovered something nobody had warned them about. The goal arrived. The feeling did not. This is not a story about failure. It is a story about what happens after success and why the psychological architecture of high achievement almost guarantees a specific kind of suffering that the world has no language for. It operates through 5 mechanisms, and it begins with a fallacy so deeply embedded in modern culture that most people never question it. In 1998, psychologist Tal Ben-Shahar gave this experience a name: the arrival fallacy. The belief that reaching a specific goal will produce lasting happiness. That on the other side of the achievement, something fundamental will shift, and life will finally feel like it was supposed to feel all along. The fallacy is not that the goal is worthless. The fallacy is the assumption attached to it. A man spends 4 years working toward a promotion. The promotion arrives. For approximately 72 hours, something resembling satisfaction appears. Then, the brain recalibrates. The new position becomes the new normal, and the same restlessness that drove the pursuit returns, now without a clear target to aim at. This is the moment high achievers describe as the most disorienting of their careers. Not failure, not loss. The quiet emptiness that follows winning. The problem is structural. High achievers are trained, often from childhood, to orient their emotional lives around future outcomes. Happiness is always conditional, available on the other side of the next milestone. But the other side, when reached, simply reveals another milestone waiting beyond it. The arrival never arrives, it only relocates. The second mechanism is more intimate and more difficult to recognize from the inside. High achievers rarely have careers. They have identities. The distinction matters enormously. A career is something a person does. An identity is something a person is. And when achievement becomes identity, the psychological stakes of every setback, every criticism, and every plateau become existential, not professional. A surgeon who loses a patient does not simply experience professional failure. She experiences a fracture in the narrative she has built around who she is. An executive passed over for a board position does not process disappointment. He processes a threat to his self-concept. This fusion of self and performance is not accidental. It is the product of decades of reinforcement. High achievers are rewarded consistently and loudly for their output. Grades, titles, salaries, recognition, all of it arrives in response to performance. Over time, the brain learns a simple equation. I am what I produce. The equation holds as long as the production continues. But careers plateau, bodies age, industries shift, and when the performance slows, even briefly, the high achiever discovers that they built their entire sense of self on terrain that was never stable to begin with. The achievement was real. The identity built around it was always fragile. Every level of achievement has a price list. High achievers pay it consistently and often without reading it first. The relationships that required presence were replaced by relationships that tolerated absence. The hobbies that once provided pleasure were reclassified as inefficiencies. The capacity to rest without guilt, to sit without producing, was quietly traded away somewhere in the first decade of serious ambition. What remains is a person extraordinarily competent in professional environments and increasingly uncomfortable everywhere else. A 2021 study tracking senior executives across multiple industries found that the majority reported significant deterioration in personal relationships over the course of their careers, and that most had not noticed it happening until the damage was already substantial. This is the specific arithmetic of high achievement. The gains are visible, measurable, and socially celebrated. The losses are invisible, cumulative, and rarely acknowledged until they become impossible to ignore. The corner office was earned. The cost was paid in a currency that does not appear on any financial statement. High achievers do not compare themselves to the general population. They compare themselves to the most accomplished people in their field, and they do so constantly. This is not vanity. It is the natural consequence of operating in environments populated exclusively by other high achievers. The reference group narrows, and the standard of comparison rises with every level of success reached. A person who becomes a partner at a law firm does not feel exceptional. They feel average, because every person around them is also a partner. The external markers of success that would appear extraordinary from the outside become invisible from the inside, because they are simply the minimum requirement for belonging in the room. What this produces is a paradox that most high achievers carry silently. The more they achieve, the less impressive their achievements feel. The bar is not fixed. It moves with them, always slightly ahead, always populated by someone doing marginally more. There is no ceiling in this game. There is only the next level, and the quiet, corrosive awareness that someone else is already there. Behind the performance of success, many high achievers carry an experience they rarely name in public. It is not depression. It is not burnout exactly. It is a specific variety of emptiness, the sensation of having done everything correctly and arrived somewhere that feels, inexplicably, like nowhere. Psychologists have studied this phenomenon under several names: post-achievement depression, success syndrome, the dark side of ambition. The details vary. The core experience is consistent. A person achieves something significant. The applause fades. The colleagues return to their own pursuits. The award goes on the shelf. And in the silence that follows, a question appears, one that the achievement was supposed to answer but did not. What was all of this for? This question is not a sign of ingratitude. It is not weakness. It is the inevitable result of spending years in pursuit of external validation while the internal landscape remained unexamined. High achievers are extraordinarily skilled at solving external problems. They are often almost completely untrained in navigating the internal ones. And the internal problem, the question of meaning, of purpose, of what actually constitutes a life worth living, does not respond to the tools that built the career. The misery of high achievers is rarely visible. It does not present itself in the ways society recognizes as suffering. It hides behind competence, behind productivity, behind the relentless forward motion that the world rewards and mistakes for well-being. But it is real. And it is, in many cases, more acute than the suffering of people who never reach the goals at all, because it carries an additional weight that ordinary unhappiness does not. The weight of having no excuse. The person who failed can attribute their unhappiness to circumstances. The person who succeeded by every available measure has no such explanation. The gap between what they achieved and what they feel cannot be closed by more achievement. It requires something the pursuit never taught them. The capacity to want what they already have. The capacity to be present in a life that does not need to be improved before it can be lived. The highest achievers in history were not the ones who accumulated the most. They were the ones who eventually learned to distinguish between the life they were performing and the life they were actually living, and chose deliberately to close the distance between them. Success is not the enemy of happiness. The belief that success is a prerequisite for it is.